when we think of 9th and 11th chords, so chord extensions above the 7th, we often think of really difficult positions, very jazzy sounds that we often use in R&B and neo-soul as well, so you may have seen them quite a lot on the channel, but in fact, we may get those kind of colors, the 9th and the 11th, by using open chords. In other words, if we're happy to stretch our fingers a little bit on the fretboard, we may find really interesting voicings to replace the boring A minor and E minor type of chords, okay? So how do we do that? Well, this is exactly what we're gonna see together today, and we're also gonna understand how we can correctly name any chord by analyzing the notes within these positions. As always guys, before we get started, remember that the tabs for everything I will be playing will be on my Patreon page, which is linked in the description below. So the first one that I want to show you guys today is one of my favorite. It is an A minor 11th. As you guys know, when we talk about the 11th, that is the 4th degree played 1 octave higher. A simple trick, in case you're not familiar with 9, 11 and 13 chords, is to take the number 9, for example, and do -7. You will get 2, which is the 2nd degree. If you have 11, -7, you will get 4, and 13, -7, you will get 6. So we're talking about the 2, the 4, and the 6, 1 octave higher. So in this A minor 11, we need a little bit of stretch. And this is one of my favorite chord voicings, okay? So how do we play that? Well, we first start with an open A, which is going to be our root note, but we're also going to repeat the root 1 octave higher on the 7th fret of the D string. So you get 2 A's in a row. Then you're going to have to use your 2nd finger on the note C, fret number 5 of the G string, so you get this kind of vibe. And then what I suggest to do is stretch your 1st finger as if you want to play a bar on fret number 3 of the first 2 strings, okay? So you play the notes D and G like this. Now, at first, it may take a little bit because, like I said, it's a bit of a stretch, but eventually it's gonna feel comfortable as long as you have your thumb really low at the back of your neck and you try to relax your fingers and keep them really curved to really get the end of the fret close to the fret bar where you get the right pitch for every single note you play. So now, why is this an A minor 11? And what other A minor 11s you may know? Well, you may know this one, which is a very common way of playing the A minor 11. This seems more of a stretch, but I guess you can already appreciate that the voicing is going to be different, giving you a different type of vibe and color. For example, if you play finger picking on acoustic guitar, this is a fantastic chord to use. Now, like we were saying, why is this an A minor 11? Well, first of all, you start with root, root, so that's the A note. The note C that you play on the G string, that's gonna be your flat 3, your minor 3rd, which is obviously something that we could expect for any minor chord. Then the next note which you play is the note D, which is the 4th degree, and again, this is what we are gonna be calling the 11th, okay? And then you have the note G here, which is your flat 7, your minor 7th, okay? Now, when you play an A minor 7 chord, you have the root, the flat 3, the 5, and the flat 7. So in this chord, you don't have the 5. And because you don't have the 5, we call this voicing an omit 5, which literally means there is no 5th in the chord. Particularly when you guys have more notes, the 7th and something else, you may want to remove the 5th to make your chord voicing a little bit lighter, and sometimes you have to on the guitar because you literally have no chance to play all of the notes you want to, including the 5th. We are absolutely cool with removing the 5th, we do it quite a lot, and like I said, it's simply called an omit 5. So you have your 1, your flat 3, you don't have the 5th, you have your flat 7, that looks like an A minor 7, but you also have the 11th, which is the 4th degree 1 octave higher, like we said, the note D. So we say that you are playing an A minor 7/11, which we often simply refer to as an A minor 11. Now, this chord sounds great because it also has one open string. So although you could move these 3 fingers to get the same position elsewhere on the fretboard, you need to remember that only if you play an A minor 11, you can also use the note A as an open string, like this. You can play finger picking arpeggios, or you can pluck it, maybe with some percussions. Whatever is the style you're going to play, this voicing sounds amazing together with a few other chords, and we're gonna see 1 or 2 today. Now, what is the other chord that I want to show you today, guys? It is a minor 9th chord, and particularly that's going to be an E minor 9, so that you can play the A minor 11 and the A minor 9 together and already get the start of a nice chord progression, or maybe use them as a replacement for boring A minor and E minor chords. Now, when you play that E minor 9, we are not going to do a very difficult stretch, but we are going to place the note, which represents the extension, so the 9th, on the 4th fret of the 4th string. Okay. The position that we're going to be using starts with the low E string, obviously, which is going to be the root. Then you're going to position your first finger on the note B, okay, 2nd fret of the 5th string. Then, like we said, ring finger goes to the F sharp, which is fret 4, string number 4 as well. Open G, so here is where we got another open string. 2nd finger on the note D, fret number 3 of the 2nd string, and then one last open string, which is the high E string. So you have 1, 2, and 3 open strings in this position. Okay, you can play the whole chord until the 1st string, or if you like to hear the note D on top to have a different note other than the root, you can possibly do this. Obviously create any variations, and again, tabs for all of the arpeggios I play are on my Patreon page. Now, how do we get that this is called an E minor 9? Let's analyze the degrees within this chord as well, so that hopefully you can do the same on any other chord that you may learn. So we start with the root, and then we get the note B, which is the 5th. So this is not going to be an omit 5. Then there is immediately the F sharp, the 2nd degree, the 9th of this chord, okay? Then you have G, which is the flat 3, the minor 3rd, because even this is a minor chord. Then you have the note D, which is the flat 7, and we know that we have flat 3 and flat 7 anytime we play a minor 7th chord, and then you simply repeat the root. So you go 1, 5, 9, flat 3, flat 7, 1 again. You have your 1 a couple of times, you have your flat 3, you have your 5, you have your flat 7, and you have your 9. One piece of advice that I want to pass on to you guys is make sure that anytime you learn a new chord, you actually spend those extra couple of minutes to really make sure that you know which notes you're playing. So in other words, what's the name of every single note within the chord, and then ask yourself what degree that actually is, and you will immediately get the reason why we call a chord in a certain way. So now that you've got your minor 11 and minor 9 chords, guys, if you want to learn even more 9, 11 and 13 chord positions, and possibly how you can apply them to actual chord progressions in a more R&B and neo-soul style, make sure to check out my R&B and neo-soul acoustic guitar course, which is linked at the description below, and it's made of over 40 lessons with all tabs transcribed, so that you can learn every technique, every chord position, and the music theory behind each chord progression in the neo-soul and R&B style. And you can finally combine these two chords, starting with the A minor 7. Make sure to let the note ring, and then E minor 9. And if you guys want to continue your chord progression, I want to make just one suggestion, but I won't tell you the name of this chord. I would like you to try and name it in the comments below, and I will get back to you to tell you if you got the right name. So So once you have your E minor 7, I simply want you to do one thing, which is move your first finger from the note B to the note C and don't play the low E string. So now this is going to be a C something, your root note becomes the note C. To me this chord is very dreamy, very 80s if you like, and I only tell you that this is going to be a C something, but I would like to see the name of this chord in the comments below. So if you combine them all, you get your A minor 11, your E minor 9, and then this C. In order to figure out what's the actual name of this C, you know that this is going to be the root, figure out the name of all of the other notes that you play and what degree they are referred to the C root note, okay? Thanks for watching guys, I will see you in the next video.